Hello and welcome to my hotel room in Dublin. I'm here on a business trip for my real job, but I just thought I'd do a little introduction to say that this video is going to be a little different. It's just a short Q&A for 25,000 subscribers that I did on the night train from Bucharest in Romania to Chisinau in Moldova. And originally it was all going to be one video, but it just ended up being way too long. So I cut it out and I'm publishing it separately. The full night train video will be next week. So I just wanted to say 25,000 subscribers. Whoa, that's crazy. Thank you all so much. It's been the best fun. It's been the best year. My channel has seen me sort of go all over the world in a way that I never really anticipated. And everyone is so lovely in the comments of every single video. So thank you all. And here's my Q&A, and I'll see you at the end. And normal service will resume next week. Right, so it's time for something quite special. It's time for a Q&A because I hit 25,000 subscribers this week, which is insane. If you told me a year ago that I'd have 25 subscribers, I would have slapped you in... No, I wouldn't have slapped you in the face. I would have said, wow, that's a lot of subscribers. So thank you very much. It's been an incredible journey and it allows me to come and do stuff like this. But it doesn't really allow me to come and do stuff like this because it hasn't exactly made me... I was going to say it hasn't exactly made me rich. Does this look like the behavior of a rich man? But yes, no, we're going to do a Q&A and we're going to do it drunk, which would be fairly uninteresting for most people, but not for me because I don't drink. I stopped drinking about 3 months ago, so this is going to be interesting. Also, before I stop drinking, one of my favorite wines in the world, in fact, it still is one of my favorites, is there's a Georgian wine. If you're a Georgian wine fan, you'll certainly know of Saperavi. I was going through a supermarket earlier. I cannot believe I just sniffed the cork on camera. That's the most middle-class thing I've ever done. I discovered that Moldova makes Saperavi. What? Okay, here we go. That looks like a Saperavi. Whoa! The train's wobbling. Okay, we're going to start with Lux Tay, who asks, do you have plans for a Discord server? The answer there is I already have one. I don't know what I'm doing on Discord. I was never on it before I started a channel, so if you know what you're doing, go make it better. F*** me. That is an incredible wine. That's better than any Georgian Saperavi I've had, and that is saying something. Moldova, what? Where have you been hiding this? F***ing hell. Oh my god. Well, I made a good choice. At Yes Banana Nana. Banana Nana? Yeah, there you go. What is one oddity from each continent that you would like to see or make a video about? Okay, so I can't do all continents because that'll take too long and I also don't have an answer for some of them. But I've got 3. If I'm cheating and using UEFA's definition of Europe, then I'm going to include Kazakhstan, and that's the Aral Sea. I'd love to do a video on the Aral Sea. I've been looking into it recently, flying from Istanbul to Aktau, getting a night train over to Aralsk and filming the Aral Sea. Obviously because a lot of people know about it being a big ecological disaster, but I've never seen that many people film it up close. Asia would be Tangula Station, which is the world's highest train station. That's in Tibet. It's very hard to get to, and the train doesn't stop there. It's like 5,500 meters, so very high, and the train has to be oxygenated as it passes over the Tangula Pass. And in South America, we've got the world's southernmost train line, which is near Ushuaia. At MPCManNL, so I assume you're Dutch, hello, says, I believe you mentioned that you were a dual UK-US citizen. I'm half American. What are some of the good or bad sides of that? Okay, a positive is that if I lose my passport, I just use the other one, which is kind of the only benefit. I once lost my passport, my UK passport. I had to go abroad to Italy the next day. So I just used my US one and flew to Italy and back. And then when I came back, I mean, obviously getting into Italy was fine because I just thought I was an American tourist, but coming back, obviously if you're an American citizen, you have to have a green card, you have to have a visa to show that you're legally allowed to be in the UK and stay there. And so I had to fill in like a arrival form, and then it said like duration of stay, and it was like forever. And they said purpose of visit. I was like, I live here. And so the border guards were like, what are you talking about? And it took hours, so don't do that.
I'm in my hotel room the following night after this, and I realised I never answered the second half of that question, which is what are the negative elements of having a dual citizenship? And I think anybody else with dual citizenship will know the answer. Say it with me. 3, 2, 1, tax.
If you could become a citizen of one other country tomorrow, which would you pick? I think the other day that report came out that says which passport is the most powerful in the world, and it was Singapore, so Singapore. In your past videos, have you ever wanted to rant about something but you chose to hold back or even edit out a part of it? If so, what was it about? It was about Seborga having a monarchy. So I really don't like monarchies, and I particularly don't like our one, the British one. And so I just thought, if Seborga's going to declare independence, do it properly, like, because they took their claim quite seriously, and they are, you know, a bit of a thorn in the side of Italy. They're not ever going to be independent, I don't think, but they do take their claim very seriously. And then I just looked up the photos, and they're just like gold and diamonds, and they have all these processions, and I'm just like, God almighty, this is so 17th century. Like, can we not do this? If you're going to choose to be a new country, why would you opt to do that rather than just being a republic? At Dansivonen8218 says, what languages do you understand and at what level? French at GCSE level, like Jumapel Gabe, Jabita Brighton. I can speak a tiny bit of Italian as well, but it's like restaurant Italian. I can like ask, I can order for people at a table, and then English at a beginner level. Oh man, I'm not used to booze. This feels really weird. At James Innit says, if you could pick one failed infrastructure project to have actually succeeded, which one would it be? I think you all know what the answer is there. It's the Transrapid. I do love the idea of the Transrapid. I don't know how viable it would have been, but it was still cool. At Michał Plichter, I think it's Michał is how you pronounce that in Polish, innit? Is who wrote the starting jingle, or where did you get it? I did. All the music that you hear on my channel, with the exception of the end of the Transrapid video, I wrote all of it. I have a degree in music, so I write a lot of music. So yeah, the opening jingle is me. Okay, so this is an interesting one. A few people asked, how can you afford to do this? How do you afford to go around the world and film all this stuff? So there's a few reasons behind it. One is that my job pays reasonably well. It's not like anything spectacular. It's like just above the London average. It's not like amazing. And then the other thing is that these trips, these tiny ones where I'm like going around Europe, I don't want to say this during a cost of living crisis, but they're quite cheap. I do them on the cheap. I finish work at like, 4 p.m. and then I'll get like a 10 p.m. flight to Münster or something for £15 and then sleep in the station and then get a train up to film the Transrapid. I don't slum it exactly, but I do it all on the cheap. This is like the most I've paid for a room on a trip, and that's not me saying that, oh look, anybody can do it then, because I know a lot of people don't have any expendable income. So I do still consider myself very lucky, even if it's flying Wizz to, I was trying to think of somewhere shit, but I couldn't. Michał asked another question further down, which is, are you a one-man show? Yes, all the researching, writing, editing, all of that is just me. But the other thing is that on some of my trips, my beautiful partner Eloise has joined. Here she is. Isn't she lovely? And was very helpful. Oh my God, it's so much more helpful when another person is there. Like helping you do the focus when you're doing a zoom shot or all that sort of stuff. It's great. And also she's just great to be around. Multiple people asked, do you have a job? Yes, I do. It's not this, it's energy journalism. I used to do travel journalism where I like got sent around the world to review hotels, which was not bad, but that doesn't pay very well. And then I was a news journalist as well. And now energy. Sloth Moth Cloth asks, how many 6-year-olds do you think you could take in a fight? Well, I have a 5-year-old son. And if I'm going on his sort of level of strength, unless there's some sort of exponential hulkination that happens between 5 and 6, I think just an indefinite number until my arms got tired. They're not very strong. Mark DeGraff 5407 says, are you currently spying for the Russian government? No. At Brick6347 said, Ukrainian train? No. At Imperator Somnium said, you in Bulgaria? No. At Not Actually My Real Name says, how are you doing?
Drunk.
Paul Fisher asks, what are your favourite banknotes and coins that you've seen around the world? Now that's an interesting one. I mean, Swiss is an obvious one. They're so colourful and pretty. Oh, we've stopped. Where are we? But the most interesting one is that I went to Tahiti when I was about 24. I think there's only one photo of me there, and it's this. And while I thought it was a sort of miserable shithole, and while I thought it was pretty miserable, I'm not sure if any of you've been to Papeete, the capital of Tahiti, but the French Polynesian franc has really fascinating coins. They're massive. They're really big. They're like that big, bigger than any other coin I'd seen. And they're really light. They feel like maybe a tenth of the weight of a normal coin. And I remember me and a couple of people at the hostel I was staying at sitting up one night trying to snap them in half because we thought they were plastic. And they weren't, and they didn't break. At Travis Halleman 2810, what's the most overrated location you've visited? I ummed about answering this one because I didn't want to piss anyone off, but it's Paris. It's Paris. Tim, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I'm not going to qualify it with anything being like, oh, but the blah, blah, blah is nice. I just don't like Paris and I'm sorry. For a less obvious answer, Melbourne. I spent a couple of weeks in Sydney about 10 years ago and I really liked it. I thought it was a really nice city. It had a nice vibe. But the next stop on my trip was Melbourne. And even Sydney locals were like, oh, you're going to love Melbourne. It's so much better than Sydney, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, cool. Why? And they'd be like, good coffee. And I'd be like, right, okay, well, I can get good coffee here, and I can also get good coffee in London, so that's not a reason for it to be that good. And then I went to Melbourne, and I wasn't a huge fan. I thought it was nice. I thought the bar scene was good. As a city, I thought it was just okay. I thought Sydney was much more impressive. Maybe I'm just a sucker for obvious tourist destinations. At Railford, you asked me a question in the first Q&A. The next question comes from
Ralford.
Legend. Would you ever want to come to Australia? And if so, can I take you out for a beer? And the answer is absolutely, as long as it's not Melbourne. At Sinday1177 asked, tram or train? Trains are way more varied, and obviously there's all sorts of different types and different speeds and different gradients and different whatever. But still to this day, whenever I see a tram, I'm like, ooh, tram! And I just don't get that with trains. So, trams, I guess. This wine is so good. At Furball Forks says, what is the most ridiculous scene? More wine, that'll help. Verbal Fork said, what is the most ridiculous thing you've seen on your travels so far? If we're talking about in my life, I got caught in a magnitude 6.7 earthquake in La Serena in Chile, where I was working in a hostel in 2016. That was pretty crazy. Oh, sure. That was friendlier. Maybe they've had a few drinks. The guard appears to be wearing his pajamas now. It's only 8 p.m. Another one is that me and some friends went to Georgia in 2016, and we were driving up the Georgian military road, which is apparently one of the most dangerous roads in Europe. And on the way up, we went round a corner that crested over the pass, and there was a truck overturned on the corner. And my friend Nick snapped this photo that has been... I can't even see it, and I'm laughing remembering what it looks like. And then on the way back the next day, on exactly the same corner, literally the exact same spot, there was another truck that was overturned, and so we got out and helped, and this is the aftermath of that, it being righted. It didn't work very well. Oh, and also I saw a jar of low-fat Waitrose own brand mayonnaise in a shop on Easter Island. That was fucking weird. And then I stepped outside, and 3 men motorbiked past, all wearing Nazi uniforms. At Veneforca asks, dogs or cats? I am actually not a dog person. I don't want to alienate too many people, but I'll leave it at saying that not calling myself a dog person is an understatement. Cats 1000% of the time. I love cats. At It's Flying Steve asks, how do you get to the ideas and topics? Atlas Obscura and Wikipedia are the 2 great directories for weird stuff around the world. So I've already got a list of like hundreds of things, probably, about maybe 150. Things that I want to film around the world, so I'm not going to run out of ideas anytime soon. At Half Faust says, do you have a favourite type of transport system, weird or otherwise? People movers. I fucking love a people mover. Every time I'm at an airport and I see a people mover, I'm just like, yes. Nobody's asking me to drink this wine this quickly. At Anime Finchen, since you featured Germany recently, what has been your worst experience with Deutsche Bahn? Germany has the most unreliable trains of any country I've ever been to, and that is fucking saying something considering some of the places I've been. So the worst experience I've had was actually when I went to film the Transrapid, which was about 2 months ago now, and so I had to get a train from. Oh my god. So I had to get. What the fuck? What the fuck's going on? So I had to get a train from Latin to Münster to Cologne to Frankfurt to Stuttgart to Reutlingen. So that's 5 trains in a row. And oh my god, every single leg of that journey was delayed by more than like 40 minutes. So the cascade, the domino effect of missed trains just meant that I'd end up on completely the wrong train at the wrong time. What are you doing? Not you, Germans, I love you. At Atomic Disturbance says, what is the dumbest thing you've seen a tourist do? So I've done some dumb shit. I got locked in a fort in India overnight. That was a mistake, and I laugh about it now, but oh my god. But the one that springs to mind for other people is I went to Dachau concentration camp near Munich, and there were 2 tourists who were taking photos, like posing photos, you know, very like Instagrammy photos under the Arbeit macht frei sign at the gate. And I was just like, what are you going to do with that photo? Who are you going to send that to? When are you going to look back at that? So I actually told them off, which, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have, but that really didn't sit well with me. At Jeffrey Chowan asks, what's your favourite and least favourite things you've seen and why? My answer for the channel, in terms of just like things I've seen, would be, I loved Nove Udoli. I thought Nove Udoli was so funny and really lovely. That was just such a cool little thing. My least favourite would be Reutlingen, because I thought, a hole in the wall that smells of piss. That's not very nice. Right, welcome back to Dublin. That's the end of the Q&A. You're going to have to believe me when I tell you that when I was recording it, I didn't realise that the last question contained an answer that was about piss, but I guess we're just going to have to go with it. So yeah, thanks very much. And as I said, this Q&A was taken from a larger video that I'm going to be publishing next week about the night train from Bucharest to Chisinau. And I've made a little trailer in case you would like to see what that's going to be like. Also, hello Ninka. You heard it here first. Oh, whoa, fuck. Oh my god. Oh fuck. Back in bed. I don't know where we are. People are leaving this gauge change yard full of piss. Yeah. To the rest of my train is missing. Brilliant. I don't know where my passport is. This is truly the spirit of Moldova. I'm in Chisinau now, and one more person has asked a question. So we'll end the video on this, which is, what is your favorite flag? And it's Panama. Look at that lovely flag. Bye.